Okay, so today we're gonna take a look at my account, which just so happens to be a top 15 account in the entirety of the global Grand Cross server. Yes, that's not bait, that's not anything. It is truly a top 15 account on the entirety of the server, which you can see right here. Well, Nano, if you have a top 15 account, why don't you make more content over the game? Simply put, it's because I'm on global. And by the time it's on global, it's kind of sort of secondhand, and there's already been 1.5 million videos made over it. But I do really like this game. And I'm going to talk about some of the things I don't like and talk about maybe what I'm going to be doing moving forward with this game at the end of that. We'll leave that for that. If you want to hear it, it'll be at the end. If not, let's dive into the juicy bits of it. Now, I know a lot of people want to know how much I've spent. I'll keep it 100 with you. I don't really know. I don't 100% know at this time how much I've spent. I will tell you, Seaton released a video where he is, which he's at rank 10. He's sitting quite a bit higher on account ranking. Like once you hit a plus 5 million, the smallest of things is what's going to slowly push you up to here. That includes Super Awakening, having better gear sets, etc., etc. And so Seaton's sitting here with a pretty salty account that he's apparently invested over $35,000 in. Now, I know some people are going to look at that and go, so what a waste, and a year of a pandemic, all of these things. But the thing you have to remember is when you're making content over a game like this, Seaton saw this as a side venture. He saw an opportunity to create a brand new channel and make money off of it, and he still was in the plus. So even though he spent $35,000, he actually still made money off of making Grand Cross content, which is something I think some people have a hard time of separating and realizing. And while I can't say that I'm totally in the plus, I'm probably not too far off, because you know, we have made some videos and we have done some sponsors with it and stuff like that. So anywho, I would say I'm nowhere near 35,000, but obviously not sitting, I'm still pretty deep, So let's take an actual look at the account itself. Obviously being top 15, it is going to be one of the better accounts you could possibly ever see. And it's a lot of work. it is a lot of work. It's a lot of time. It's a lot of just different investments. So what I wanted to do first off to sort of show things off is let's just take a look at everything I have 6 out of 6, which should start somewhere around here, I believe. I think he's like 5 out of 6. He's 5 out of 6. So if we go one more, we're at the 6 out of 6. So everything from the SR Meliodas and above is going to be legitimately 6 out of 6, because as you can see, we are ranking this right now by my ultimate. So everything above this melee right here is 6 out of 6. So let's just kind of take a look at that. You know, as far as how deep I've went, I was a little more front heavy on this game. I did have a lot of coins going into the Super Awakening update from spending so much in the front end of it. I have still, you know, done obviously a lot of summons. You know, go through, I got 5 out of 6 on the KOF banner. I did 6 out of 6 every single KOF unit. Anytime they've done a crossover period, I've made sure to 6 out of 6 all of the units, because there's no chance. I wouldn't say there's not any chance, but the chances of the crossovers happening again are very slim. And so I want to make sure that while they're here, if I want to have a fairly good account, I want to make sure that I do 6 out of 6 these units. So we have Benimaru here, 6 out of 6. Her here, it's just everything is 6 out of 6 from the slime event. And then if you scroll up, one of my favorite anime of all time is Attack on Titan. So the second that Mikasa and everyone else released, I knew I had a 6 out of 6 on them. This was kind of a pain, but we actually made multiple videos and multiple streams doing these summons. And I think one of the things I will try to do moving forward with this game is trying to stream as much of it as possible. So that will be where you'll find a lot of the content for this game. Again, I'll talk more about that in a second. Well, we got Levi 6 out of 6. I mean, obviously, you know this. I don't need to technically show this. You can see it for yourselves, but still just to kind of, you know, show it off just a little bit. We got both of the Aaron 6 out of 6 as well. Of course, one of them is an SR and was also a reward. I believe it was from the battle pass at the time. So of course they're going to be 2. I did go ahead and get Oslo and Hawk 6 out of 6, which of course was a little bit dirty. They hid this expel for 2 turns behind 6 out of 6. It is for 1 turn up until you make him a 6 out of 6, which is like, what you doing, Netmarble? Why did you do this? It's such a huge buff for basically welling out on that unit. And then of course all of the KOF units, again, 6 out of 6 on all 4 of these. These summons actually went really well, I won't lie to you. That's probably the one that I'd have to invest that much in on, but it was also guarantee. I don't know. I feel like they handled the KOF really well, or maybe I just got really lucky on it as opposed to AOT and slime, because both of those were quite a lot. Some of my worst shafts as far as summons go was definitely 6 out of 6ing the Drolls, and I just wanted those for the actual tournament. I knew going into the tournament Droll would be a very key sort of component to how I wanted to set up my teams. And realistically speaking, if I hadn't have got, honestly, I started shaking in my boots a bit, I probably could have at least faced off against Kabuki, if not ended up in the finals against Seaton as well, which maybe, who knows, maybe we can make that happen too. But Ludo being 6 out of 6 also was a pretty hardcore shaft, but I wanted to make sure he was, because he's one of these units where essentially you want him to have higher CC than your opponent, because if you're able to do that, you get his unique hero, which is decreases defense related stats of enemy heroes with a combat class lower than the hero by 40% for 3 turns, which is huge, bro, which is absolutely huge with a unit like this. Anyways, now we're sorted by awakenings. As you can see here, like legitimately about half of the box here is awakened, and that's about where it's gonna be sitting for now. I mean, obviously this is going to make a huge difference on increasing your combat class, and that is obviously why I think Seaton is so high. I imagine Seaton has, if not his entire box, at least 90+% of his box sitting super awakened, which is why he has, you know, quite a lot there. If you wonder why I keep focusing on Seaton, it's just because I know that Seaton is another creator that's right here, very close to where we're at on this combat class ranking list. Another big one right here would be this Hellbrom. Obviously, if you're watching this deep, I don't need to explain how you get him, but essentially got him during season 2. Let's see, week 1, I believe I used a green Escanor build. Week 2, I think I went with a Pierce build, if I remember right. And then the last week of that season, LV and Fraudred mix, so, you know, a little bit spicy, but yes, we do actually have the Hellbrom here as well. So this is quite the salty account. I know another thing people probably want to see is gear. I don't want to sit here and just show y'all gear. I think it could get really boring, but for the tournament, we had to make 24 sets of UR gear, which your boy did. Some of these rolls aren't the best, but they're not terrible either. If you're not familiar with this, essentially the highest rolls you can get on each of these would be up to 15. Depending on, it depends on just like how deep you are into the game, but essentially you have these different substats that you can re-roll, and the highest you can get on each would be plus 3%. So a perfect set of gear would be sitting at 15%. And it's quite the grind to get that done. It is quite the grind. We do have some decent sets, I won't lie, but I just, like, I don't know, man, just to sit here and to show y'all everything would take so much time that I feel like you can kind of get an idea of it without me having to make like an hour plus long video of where the account is sitting. And I kind of want to do this too, just so I can look back on this as well. But I ended up getting my King 4 out of 6. The reason why I chilled out on this, I actually replied to a tweet from Zahal the other day. He's like, when you 6 out of 6 in King, Nano, one of the King summons, Nano. Actually, I was super lucky. I ended up getting him 4 out of 6 after about a rotation and a half. And in that same time frame, I got Hindi to 3 out of 6, which I am definitely not complaining about either of those. It's just not that bad. I didn't want to go too deep on it, if I'm being totally honest with you. But anyways, the reason why I didn't do that is because I imagine the one will be here maybe as soon as a month away, but for sure within 2 months. And I can finish him out then, since he'll be a festival unit. And I'm actually sitting on quite a few festival coins too with LV and with Ellie. So I didn't really want to go too deep right now with him, especially given the fact that he released in a much worse state than what he did on the JP side in terms of just the overall meta. So anyways, that's pretty much it. That's really, I mean, and then as far as like actual cosmetics goes too, I for sure always make sure to pick up all the cosmetics for the exclusive units that aren't going to be around for forever. And, you know, unfortunately you have to pick up the cosmetics for a lot of other units if you want to make them be viable. So and I have, as you can see, ranked up some, but not all. But yeah, it's you know, it's a pretty big, you know, well account. You don't get to be a top 15 in the world account without going pretty hard on it. But anyways, I guess to dive deeper into what I was kind of alluding at the beginning of this was essentially, I'm going to probably chill a little bit. I want to see what they do with getting the games very close to being on the same sort of release schedule. If that ever happens, you better believe Grand Cross content will be coming out like crazy on this channel. Until then, I do want to bring this over more to a streaming focus. When I do feel like playing the game and do feel like making content on it, it's going to be more stream focused. I I don't know, as I mentioned before, I just don't want to make essentially sloppy second content. And again, I know that a lot of y'all would watch, a lot of y'all would tune in, but it would just be more fun if when I'm summoning for, you know, Assault Meliodas, so is everyone else, and it's not just a global thing, it's an entire thing. And kind of like Legends does, like with Legends, it's a similar thing of Dokkan and global and JP. A lot of people wonder why a lot of YouTubers just cover the JP side, and it's because the content is new and fresh, and by the time it releases on global, the content is old and you've seen it 1.5 million times. You've already seen everyone summon for that unit, you've already seen everyone use that unit in many different teams in many different ways. And so that's kind of where we're at. So I'm going to be more like strategic and smarter with the way I'm spending my stone. Spending my stones. I started talking about Dokkan and I got over talking about Dokkan, but spending my diamonds and how I'm investing in stuff. And the biggest complaint I have about this game is they essentially took, I know I'm putting this in the middle of an account overview, a top 15 account overview, that I've spent a lot of money on this game. But the thing that I don't like about this game is that they've took every aspect of any other free-to-play game and shoved it in here. You need multiple copies of the same unit to 6 out of 6 them. You need cosmetics, which typically when a game has cosmetics, you can acquire the actual units not from summoning. You can just get them in game for free, and then you buy the cosmetics for them, and that's how they get your money. But they also have cosmetics. Then on top of that, they introduced Super Awakening, which granted you can use any type of coin, which that is great. I'm glad you don't need to just use SSR coins, but still, it's another aspect of them wanting you to summon and spend more money on the game. So it's just like, if you could think of a way to monetize a free-to-play game, Grand Cross has done it, and it does get to me a little bit. I know as you're like, but Nano, you have a top 15 account, you've obviously spent a lot on it, and I have, and because I like the game. It is a very, very good game. Like, it's a very good game. I love card games. This whole channel started out as a Hearthstone channel. I love card games, but it's just, ugh. Anyways, that's the video. That's my account. And maybe some of you wanted me to go deeper into it and show more stuff off, but I'll keep it 100 with y'all. This is where it's at. I feel like you can get a good feel of where the account is without me diving in and showing you everything. I showed you all the units that were 6 out of 6. I showed you a decent amount of everything else. So this is my account. And anyways, for all you that were wanting to see it, there you go. That is the account. Anyways, guys, have a great day. Keep on keeping on Nanogenix off, and I'll see you all in the next video. Bye, guys.